Hello and welcome to Sobirovs live show. Today we will be talking about how to hire an immigration lawyer. I know we are at the beginning of the new year and now with new economic realities, and you might be thinking, what should I do in order to hire the best lawyer for my own immigration case? So if you want to answer that question, we need to get into the detail. Usually I do the presentation first, and then I do Q&A sessions. So 1 second, I have some technical difficulties here. But overall, the question is, there are 5 critical questions that you need to ask in order to get yourself the most suitable lawyer, perhaps one of the most fitting immigration lawyer for your case. Now, let me try with my presentation. Yep. I usually do a presentation, then I get to your questions, so be patient. Now, today I'm testing another technology. One is you can watch our live streaming on YouTube and other platforms which are horizontal, like on a computer device, let's say. But you can also watch it now with vertically, which is on Instagram or on your mobile device and so on. We try to accommodate both screens this time. So 5 key questions before hiring an immigration lawyer. It's very critical, and I will be touching upon several issues today. So be patient. We will get to your questions too. So let's get started. So I welcome you all to the show, and my presentation is a bit long today, but we will take as much time as necessary to answer your questions too. So you can start typing your questions. I can see it on my second screen, but I will bring it forward to answer them one by one after the presentation. So 5 key questions before hiring an immigration lawyer. I refresh this information based on the latest experiences and other our own experience and the experiences of those who are looking for immigration program or an immigration lawyer. So overall, the short message is you should stop being just the applicant. Stop being a passive person in the process of vetting your lawyer. Be an active person, like an employer who is interviewing someone for the job, right? So it's not just a lawyer consulting you, but rather you are also reviewing the lawyer's qualifications. It's like an interview for the job, right? So a strategic framework for protecting your future is becoming more active rather than a passive immigration applicant. And the trap of liability, the liability trap, what I mean here is, regardless of the fact that whether you do your own application or you hire someone, whether they are licensed or not licensed and so on, the trap of strict liability says that whatever you provide in your application, directly yourself or through somebody else, is your information and you are liable for that. So, and even an honest mistake, a misunderstanding or an omission by an agent or yourself is not treated the same as innocence. Is not treated the same, is legally treated the same as a lie. So innocence is not a defense when you say, oh, it's not me, but this guy did it for me. So it's very critical when selecting who will be representing you in front of Canadian authorities and who you trust with your Canadian future. Now, the problem is even worse with the 5-year ban. So there are many cases at the moment that we see. It's not only people use unauthorized agents, which by law is prohibited. When they use it, they don't declare that somebody else helped them, right? So at the end of the day, they get a refusal plus 5-year ban from applying to Canada. So a penalty for misrepresentation, whether it's done by you or through your agent, through your lawyer, whatever, it may result in a 5-year ban. and it raises the issue of ethical representation. So we will come to that too. So inadmissibility for 5 years, banning for 5 years is very bad. The fact that you are using unauthorized agent and you are not declaring that in your application that somebody else helped you to file an application by itself is a misrepresentation. So take care of that. The 5-year ban will be reflected potentially, it's my personal opinion, because Canada shares database with other 5 major countries, major immigrant countries, such as, so Canada is one, United States, England, New Zealand, and Australia, the 5I countries. They basically share the database, so inadmissibility and ban from one country can be easily traced to your next application to the next country. So there are secondary considerations like removal and so on and so forth. So ethical representation is a big issue. Now, looking at the statistics back from 2017, this is an old but relevant statistics. If you are represented by lawyers, rigorous legal training translates into 50% lower rejection risks compared to self-representation. Yes, you can self-represent yourself truly and honestly in Canadian immigration, but if you want to hire someone, you better hire a lawyer or a consultant. In this case, you can see that the level of rejection is lower as you go more professional with hiring someone for your immigration. Okay, the stakes are very high, and one decision away from missed deadlines, one decision away from application failure or deportation. So it's very critical. This is not just a transaction with someone who is licensed to represent you. It is also kind of a partnership in your future, right? For your future. That's why the topic is very actual. Now let's look at who is who. It is very common these days, especially now when Canada has become one of very few countries that is still accepting immigrants, right? The United States has banned many countries. The recent ban was about 75 countries around the world. Now, know the players, and you need to select them very carefully when you are selecting an immigration lawyer. One, know who the lawyers are. And the word lawyer in the United States, it's used as attorney. In other countries, if you speak foreign language, there are other words that they use. So go with the lawyer. In Canada, we refer to them as lawyers, not attorneys, okay? They have education of Juris Doctor. It's a law degree. It's a professional law degree after an undergraduate degree. They are regulated by professional and provincial bar associations such as Law Society of Ontario. And the scope of representation, they are a mandate. They can represent you in all levels of court and government, all levels, all the way to Supreme Court of Canada. Immigration consultants is also a regulated profession, and they are licensed. So you need to check whether who you're choosing is regulated, whether he is a lawyer or she is a lawyer or a consultant. They have a consultant certificate. They are regulated by CICC, College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants. And make sure that they have limited scope, though, in terms of representing and giving you legal advice. So lawyers are authorized to give legal advice on the law, but immigration consultants can represent you in administrative procedures. So limited scope, they cannot appear on your behalf before the federal court or any other court in Canada. So there's another scam version of that profession, which is titled as Notario. I don't know whether it's Latin or, scammers usually use the word Notario. Just to sound like sophisticated or legal. This is a fraud term used mostly with respect to Canada and the US. Reality is often a scam targeting Latin American immigrants. Now we can see a lot in both Canada and the United States, but they can also use it to target any other immigrants, not necessarily Latin American. Zero authority, this is a fraud alert. So we will come to fraud, identifying fraud and staying away from misrepresentation. Now, There are also within lawyers, now I will focus only on immigration lawyers, there are lawyers of different kind. As soon as you graduate from law school and as soon as you get your lawyer's license, technically lawyers can work in any field of law, okay, legally. Of course, there are lawyers who do everything, like what we lawyers refer as door law or everything law. For example, real estate, divorce, criminal, wills, family, I don't know, international law and immigration law. So that you need to ask that. And so there are also specialists recognized by law societies. The lawyers who specialize in immigration, these are usually, they do only immigration. And I will come within immigration, there's another, filtering down. But the specialists, the immigration lawyers, they specialize and they do just immigration, no corporate, nothing else, just immigration. So you need to ask the question, one of the key questions, what percentage of your practice is dedicated only to immigration? Okay, are you doing multiple areas of law or just immigration? Requirement for you, just to assess, is 90 to 100% is good, but personally anything less than that, he or she is not a specializing in immigration. So immigration is a very delicate and complex topic. It requires the whole lifetime to specialize and learn and get to know every detail in immigration. So it's a sophisticated area and you should go with a specialist if possible. Now, verification, you should go and ask the lawyer or check it individually yourself. Verification, you need to trust but always verify. Trust but verify. So Law Society member directory search is very easy. It's public. Go and type the name and it will pop up. Identify the regulator. Every province has its own regulator of legal profession. For example, in Ontario, it's Law Society of Ontario. And in British Columbia, it's Law Society of British Columbia, and so on. Check the status, confirm that the lawyer is in good standing in the public directory. Investigate history, look at any disciplinary action or practice restrictions, and so on. And bonus due diligence is check if the lawyer is a member of any organization such as professional organization for lawyers, immigration lawyers, CBA, OBA. There's an organization called CILA, Canadian Immigration Lawyers Association, and it's just a bonus. It's not a necessity, but it's a bonus for you to feel more comfortable. Threat is always present. Threat of ghost consultants. These are invisible. They stay invisible behind you and do things as if you are doing those things. For example, submitting your application. They never are held responsible. They're invisible. You choose them for whatever reason, and you should be really careful. The definition of ghost consultants, as I understand, is unauthorized representatives who charge a fee, but they are not licensed lawyers or immigration consultants. So you need to ask the question, are you an immigration lawyer in Canada? Are you an immigration consultant in Canada? If yes, please prove. The risks of dealing with ghost consultants, as I mentioned earlier, is immediate refusal, the fact that you're using a ghost consultant and not disclosing it. Even if you disclose, it's bad for you, but you need to disclose if somebody else is helping you for a fee, even if it's $1. Family members and friends can help you, and you need to declare it free of charge. But if somebody is charging you money, he or she needs to be licensed to be able to represent you in immigration. So no recourse. You cannot, you cannot use Canadian law to go after a ghost consultant, okay? You will bear the consequences yourself. And the liability using undeclared representative is a form of misrepresentation. If you get charged, if you are accused of misrepresentation, you will be banned from applying to Canada for the next 5 years. So if they refuse to sign the use of rep form, just walk away. These are ghost consultants. You don't want to be connecting your future with ghost consultants. So as I promised, you need to know the indicators, the red flags of fraud. One is guarantee. No licensed person will guarantee you, no, I would say, no ethical and licensed person will guarantee you any results. Promises of a job or visa, no one can guarantee a government decision. Unsolicited contact, maybe you are contacted by WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever group or Facebook, hey, I can find you a job and I can bring you to Canada, blah, blah, blah. Unsolicited contact is a no-go. Random emails or calls claiming to be from the government or from some kind of agency. Payment methods, you always go with wire transfer, no request for cash, Western Union, or deposit to personal accounts. These are all red flags. Digital footprint, check the person. And in today's world, I will make this claim. If you are dealing with someone who has a gmail.com or hotmail.com email, I would rather not deal with that person, okay? Because you never know. These are free accounts. They don't have corporate account. Getting an email with a corporate email address is not that expensive. You can get, a licensed lawyer or licensed immigration consultants definitely have those corporate domains. Dishonesty, suggestions to hide facts or forge documents or lie and so on and so forth. These are all red flags, even with respect to licensed lawyers or immigration consultants. Whoever is giving you these red flags, I stay away from them. Now, also, there is of course, it's a structure of a law firm when there is a senior partner or managing partner who you probably meet or don't meet. So make sure that whoever is dealing with you in terms of consultation, that person will be responsible for your file, okay? So the question during your interview, you are interviewing the lawyer, you should be asking, will you be the main lawyer on my case, or will it be passed to a junior lawyer? That's okay. If it's passed to a junior lawyer, that's fine. But who will be responsible? Who can be accountable to me in terms of direct point of contact and case management? So direct point of contact and accountability is the key. It's okay in big firms and many when there are many lawyers, they can delegate. The senior lawyer delegates to a junior lawyer. That's fine. But you need to ask that question, who will be the main responsible lawyer for my case? Okay, consultation strategy. When you are booking a consultation, paid or unpaid, doesn't matter, but I suggest paid consultation is more value. You need to change your mindset. You are as if you are an employer. You are hiring a lawyer, right? Act like an employer. The goal is leave with 100% questions answered. If not during the consultation, maybe after with a follow-up email. All questions needs to be answered by the lawyer. Preparation, bring written timeline of entries and exits. If anything related to your immigration case, bring it to the consultation. That's okay. You are paying for the consultation. You are entitled to get some answers to your specific situation. And another preparation, bring copies of all previous applications, because usually lawyers cannot, if you have previous history of immigration applications, they need to look at the previous history because that's the history which is on the government side. So in the interview, in the consultation, you need to bring it to the table. Paid consultations are often a sign of quality advice versus a sales pitch. Watch out for the sales pitch. Immigration lawyers, they don't really engage in the sales, okay? They don't offer you something. They say you are so-and-so, could be eligible to the such and such immigration pathway. We can help you or we cannot help you. It's fine. Immigration lawyers don't take everyone who's coming through their doors or through consultation as their clients. They are selective too. It's like mutual. You are selecting the lawyer, lawyer selecting you. So it's a mutual two-way street. The honesty test. I always use this with any consultation with other professions. I hire professionals too. So beware of the guaranteed win or such words as easy, very fast, and so on. The honesty test is always, it's your gut feeling. It's always feel that you want to work with that person. So don't worry, 100% guaranteed. That's a red flag. That's the and you got to run away at that moment. Based on in the middle is based on what I've told you. What are the biggest weaknesses in my case? That's your main frame when you are asking that question. So based on what I told you to the lawyer, what are my weaknesses of my case? Just be honest. And here are the risks, and here's our plan to mitigate them. So that's the conversation which is going in the right direction, okay? You are paying for a strategist, not a cheerleader. That's the mindset, okay? If somebody says, "Oh, you are a great candidate. Yes, 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 we will bring you to Canada right away in 2 months, blah, blah, blah." That puts me off, okay? Honest with all the realities that we are dealing with. That's what I call an honesty test when you are hiring an immigration lawyer or an immigration consultant, doesn't matter. So hire realistic strategy, not a cheerleader, okay? Now, track record, also very important. You need to ask certain questions with respect to track record. The mindset should be the following. You are an employer hiring the lawyer. That's your mindset, okay? Have you handled cases with my specific circumstances? Maybe yes, maybe no. That's okay. If they dealt with cases similar to your case, not exactly your case, but just track record, I want to know. Can you share an anonymized case studies of similar outcomes? You don't want to get the confidential information about the previous cases, but you want to know with similar in similar situations. Did you deal with people like me as a client? So general experience versus specific competence. It's better to have a specific competence in one area of immigration law rather than submitting thousands of different immigration applications every month, okay? Immigration is nuanced. It's very changing. It's dynamically, it's never boring in immigration, as I say. And every week we are coming up, Immigration Canada is coming up with something very, very surprising. So generalists miss the details. It's my personal opinion. So you want to go with specialist who is focused on immigration law. And within immigration law, you want to focus, maybe it's personal immigration law or business immigration law. The more specialized, the better. The vetting interview, the competence, is my specific case type, refugee business, a focus of your practice? That's a great question to ask. These are the cases that you deal on a daily basis, or these are something new to you? Have you handled cases with my specific circumstances, like medical refusal or criminal inadmissibility or divorced parents and so on, or divorced spouses? Very specific to your situation. Who will be specifically handling my file? You, a junior associate or paralegal or immigration consultant, you need to get answers to that. Who will be handling my case? It's not just, only senior lawyer should handle my case. You cannot demand that because the business model allows them to delegate to junior lawyer, but the main lawyer will still be held responsible for the file, okay? The goal here is to ensure the person selling the service, offering the service, is the person performing the service too, or responsible to that, the delivery of immigration service to you. So that's the main focus of your. So I can see that we are almost 25 minutes into the presentation. I'm almost done, and let's have a quick break and we'll come back to the rest of the presentation. All right, so almost done with my presentation, and you can start typing your questions. I will be happy to answer your questions. And if you missed this live, that's okay. You can then come back to this video and leave your questions under in the comment section. Okay, the transparency. Many people ask about the fees. The fees shouldn't be the secret of a lawyer, okay? So there are two types. Basically, fees, is it more like a flat fee or an hourly fee? That's the big two types. Is this a flat fee or hourly rate? That's your question to ask. What's included is like courier, translation, government fees, taxes, and so on. Make sure that this is all transparent and discussed. And communication style, you also need to ask during your interview of the lawyer. How often will you update me? Maybe it's weekly, maybe it's as the news comes, and so on. What are the realistic risks? Be aware of 100% chance claims. You know, if somebody sells 100%, you will be able to immigrate. I would walk away from that lawyer. I wouldn't deal with that lawyer, to be honest. And so how often will you communicate with me? How realistic are my case? So be transparent. Transparency is the key. There's nothing to hide in this day and age. You know, there's no secret sauce or hidden fees. There shouldn't be, actually. So communication protocol, is it secure? Because you are dealing with personal information, and it should be through email. Many parts of the world still use Telegram, WhatsApp, WeChat, and so on. The main communication related to your case should be through email, secure email. And acceptable timelines usually is within 24 to 48 hours. That's fair. Lawyers are busy, so make sure that you are also patient in waiting a communication from them. You know, scheduled calls. You know, you cannot say, hey, lawyer, jump on a call. I need to talk to you. No. Schedule the call. Send an email. Be courteous. Be professional about your file. Because besides you, there are thousands of other cases that a lawyer can be dealing with, okay? Language access, sometimes you could want to have a reliable interpreter if you don't speak the English language. But usually immigration law firms, they have multilingual team members. Okay. Now the retainer agreement, it's critical that you read the retainer agreement and ask questions about the retainer agreement. Without retainer agreement, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. You need to put everything in writing. Okay. Scope of representation. What exactly are they doing? Termination clause, how we will terminate, what are your fees and when are your fees due, confidentiality, privacy protection, and so on and so forth. Retainer agreement is the most important document in your relationship with your lawyer. Yes, you can have a very friendly relationship and so on. I would even ask for my brother to sign a retainer if I represent my brother, okay? Retainer agreement is a must. So read it very carefully. The runaway list, I'm just about to end my presentation. So approach solicitation, unwanted solicitation, you run away. Guarantees of visa, you run away. Illegal advice, like fake documents, fake IELTS test, or misrepresenting any fact, you run away. Cash only deals, please don't use cash only. Maybe some part is cash, but mostly you need to send it wire transfer. You need to have a record. No Western Union transfers, okay? No, you know, other kind of transfers. No credentials of a lawyer. They cannot prove that they are licensed lawyers. Run away. Zero tolerance to all these red flags, okay? Now, the gut check. Every time after doing all your due diligence, you are a human being. You are dealing with another human being. Trust your gut, human instincts. That's the human element, okay? You have checked all the credentials, you have checked all the fees, you read the retainer, now check your intuition at the end. Do I trust this person with my Canadian future? Do I trust him or her? If yes, then it's good. If no, then I would search more. There are many lawyers. There are thousands of lawyers in dealing with immigration. Go and check. Do your research. Empathy, did they listen to you? Clarity, did they explain in plain English or they were just throwing at you the legal terminology? Respect, did they feel like you did they make you feel like a valued client, and so on? So these are gut feelings. Maybe you have your own criteria, but gut feeling, the gut check is always necessary. Summary: the empowered vetting protocol is the protocol to go when you are interviewing a lawyer, not just consulting with a lawyer, interviewing a lawyer. Research: identify 3 candidates with 90% of work in immigration focus, like immigration focused work. Then this is check mark. 2, verify, check the standing with the Provincial Law Society. 3, I wrote interrogate, but don't interrogate, just ask. Ask what are the weaknesses of my case and other questions that we discussed. Contract: read their contract before signing and before paying. The right lawyer is not just an expense, they are the architects of your Canadian future. So these are very important. Your future deserves a good research, okay? Your future really deserves a good research. You verify the status, assess the expertise, reject guarantees, and understand strict liability. In a complex legal landscape, immigration legal landscape, the right guide is your greatest asset, okay? If you want to talk to professionals, this is my offer to you. We've been doing business immigration and business immigration only for the last 13 plus years. So if you want to talk to us, talk through, go to Sobirovs.com and book your 1-hour strategy meeting. If you're not satisfied with the strategy meeting, we just give your money back, your consultation fee back. We are not in the business of, enriching ourselves with consultation fees. We are in the business of helping you genuinely. If we can help you, we will tell you. If we cannot help you, we will tell you that too. So it's that kind of approach at Sobirovs Law Firm. All right, just a quick break, and I can see a lot of questions. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching this live show. It's great to have you with us. Even if you miss this live streaming, don't worry, you can still send us your questions. Just leave them in the comments section under this video. My team and I will go to each question and answer them as much as we can. Usually, within 1 hour after live streaming, we will hang out in the comments section, answering the questions as they come. So I look forward to getting your questions soon. Let's get back to the show now. Okay, back to your questions now. Thank you very much. I will receive the questions like this, okay, and try to answer them. So, sir, I own a company, general trading company, import-export in the United Arab Emirates. I want to travel to Canada and open another branch of the company there to import goods from China to Canada. Okay, and the question is, I'm sorry, the screen is, okay. The question is, first, technically speaking, you don't have to come to Canada to open a branch, okay? If you want to use your entrepreneurship experience and you have enough capital, and depending on your ultimate immigration goals, do you want to come to do business only, or you want to come to do business and then get to the permanent residence? Depending on your ultimate goal, the strategy should be devised from the very beginning, okay? Please tell me your goals and I will answer your question with pleasure, okay? Now, the second question is, hello, hope you're doing good. Thank you very much. Could you please advise on the timeline and overall costs involved obtaining permanent residence by acquiring a business in a province? Well, depends on which province. For example, I'll just give you an example. Alberta Rural Entrepreneur Program requires you to have at least 300,000 Canadian net worth and invest at least in minimum 100,000 Canadian dollars into your business in Alberta, in rural Alberta. The timeline from the beginning till you become a permanent resident is twofold. One, you come to Canada on a work permit. You sign a performance agreement with Alberta, you perform under that agreement, and if Alberta is happy, then they nominate you to permanent residence. I think from the beginning to permanent residence, it takes around 2 to 3 years. in general. Okay, so that's the process. And how much it costs, overall cost, I said the business immigration involves your own investment, and legal fees, you can check our website. There's a fee calculator. Estimated legal costs for, let's say, Alberta Rural Entrepreneur program is around 40 to 50,000 Canadian, for including all the legal fees, all the government application fees, and business plan, and so on and so forth. So it's a rough estimate, but again, please don't quote me on this, because every circumstances of every client is different. The complexity is different. The more complex, the more expensive. Okay, so you need to check it and sit with a lawyer, talk to the lawyer, and then when they send you the retainer agreement, you will see exactly what are the costs. Okay, the business costs that you acquire a business doesn't go to the lawyer; it goes to the seller, right? So that's depends on what kind of business you want to buy. Maybe you want to buy $200,000 business. Maybe you want to buy $1 million business. It depends, but the legal costs are, you can easily calculate it on our fee calculator. We are very transparent. Of course, the calculator estimates the cost. Again, when you talk to the lawyer, depending on the complexity of your case, the fees may change. Okay. All right. Next question is a follow-up question from the same person. Could you please advise which pathway is comparatively faster and more advantageous in both the short and long term, the C11 work permit or provincial PR through business acquisition? C11 work permit is not a PR program. So you are comparing apples to oranges. So C11 work permit is a federal program that allows you to come to Canada to run your business temporarily. The PR provincial nominee programs, that's a provincial program, and it leads to PR. It's designed to lead to PR by default. So these are two different animals in a way. So from that perspective, it depends. If you are guided by permanent residence, you want to become permanent resident, then the choice is obvious. Provincial PR programs, provincial PNP for entrepreneurs. But if you are so, in a hurry to come to Canada faster, then C11 is faster, okay? But it doesn't necessarily lead to PNP or to PR. Some provinces may lead. There are two options at the moment. I think New Brunswick, they can recognize your previous business experience in the province of New Brunswick and then allow you to enter the PNP post factum. Or now Ontario is considering to revive an entrepreneurship program again. In the discussions, it's still under discussion, it's not a law yet, but I can see that they are looking at two ways: either those who acquired and run the business, or those who established the business and ran the business for some time, and then they may be up for PNP under Ontario, if that new proposal becomes a law. So we are waiting for Ontario. Nothing is certain yet, but from what I see, the indication is that they may look post factum again. Okay, you ran your business under C11 for, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, then maybe, just a big question mark, you may be eligible to a PNP program. So again, these are two different beasts. These are two different approaches. One is a federal and temporary. The other is provincial and permanent. Okay, these are, I wouldn't really compare, but depends on your objective now. In short term, if you want to come to Canada fast, then C11. That's the way to go. Canada, the person that asked about opening a branch from Dubai, from UAE to Canada, so you are following up. So I'm looking to relocate and live permanently in Canada. Please tell me the procedures for opening another branch of the company in Canada. It's easy. The opening a branch, a legal entity, a corporation takes maximum 2 days, maximum, with all the paperwork. So, but applying to be able to come and work on your business on that branch, I wouldn't call branch because you are alluding to intra-company transfer. Now intra-company transfer regulations have changed. You have to be multinational already. You have to be functioning in different, more than one country before coming to Canada. So please don't use the word branch because that alludes to intra-company transfer, transferring you from Dubai to Canada, okay? So I would say opening a company in Canada is not a very difficult thing, but if you want to become permanent resident in Canada, then look into PNP programs, provincial nominee programs for entrepreneurs, okay? That's a more solid, stable, predictable passage to permanent residence. At the moment, as I said, Ontario is considering. There are other great provinces like Alberta, British Columbia, New Brunswick, Manitoba, Nova Scotia. They all have their own very good provincial entrepreneur programs. And I think, frankly, at this stage, today on January 28th, PNPs are the real stable ways to become PR. Okay, while you run your business, you bring your family during that work permit stage, you run your business genuinely, and based on your performance, if the province is happy, then you become PR. Okay, Canada has stopped those speculative business ventures. Oh, I will do this, I will do that, but people don't do it at the end. Now Canada and provinces say, okay, come here, come to Canada on a work permit, do what you promised to do, and then we will consider your permanent residence, okay? That's a very fair assessment of the situation. Anything else? If you have, let me share my screen just to show you. So when you go to Sobirovs.com website, I think if you are watching on a mobile device, you need to make it horizontal because the screen cannot be shared otherwise. So go to Sobirovs.com website, business immigration. You can see provincial nominee programs here, right? An overview, a very good overview. We share knowledge, we share our expertise generously. It's not that we don't hide our expertise, right? We share it generously, and we want you to get an informed decision. Let me change my cameras. I want you to have an informed decision before you choose a pathway. So under business immigration, there is a section called provincial nominee programs. Check out that section, free guidance. Go and, for example, Alberta Entrepreneur Program, and so on. And at the end of this guidelines, there are success stories. You can read the success, all the FAQs, all the knowledge is here for you, for your benefit to make an informed decision. So at the end, we have success stories, okay? Costs, everything is discussed, everything. I can make a very bold statement and say, no law firm in Canada shares that much information for free than Sobirovs law firm. Okay, that's kind of a statement I can make. If you show any other professional who's sharing that many pieces and generously sharing that information, I would like to know. I would like to learn from you. I'm making this bold statement because we work a lot on our content and we update them regularly. We publish success stories. You can go and check success stories right here under insights. Go success stories, news and publications, frequently asked questions. Everything is for your benefit to make you a good educated entrepreneur, an immigrant who knows what he's doing and who is very well informed about all the nuances and so on. So British Columbia, another great province. So go and check for yourself. It's a great resource for you. All right, now let me go to the questions again. Okay, another question from Canada is, which sectors offer the easiest opportunities for establishing companies, finding employment, and achieving stability. Canada, may I make a request? Please don't use the word easy when it comes to immigration. Okay? The word easy is very misleading, is over-promising, it's wrong. So I would say the best opportunities are, you can establish any company in Canada, but there are certain regulated sectors, for example, telecommunication, gambling, and so on and so forth. Your sector, import-export, is not heavily regulated, okay? You can import-export as long as the products are, according to the Canadian standards. Finding employment, we don't specialize in finding jobs in Canada. We specialize in creating jobs through our entrepreneurs, clients like you. Entrepreneurs come to Canada to create jobs, to create value, to hire Canadians. That's the whole purpose of entrepreneur immigrant program, right? Entrepreneur immigration. So achieving stability, I think it depends on your efforts and your discipline. Have you achieved stability in UAE? You can bring those skills to Canada. Yes, Canada is a more mature and developed economy, but there are certain transferable skills that you can bring from UAE to Canada. And of course, it takes time for you to learn. Don't expect to earn millions in 6 months, okay? Be realistic. This is a very developed country with certain aspects that are not present in other parts of the world. But overall, if you, with your persistence, with your skills and hard work, you will achieve stability and good income. I'm sure. Okay. Another Mustansar is asking the following question. Thank you very much for your responses. Can you please share the expected timeline and estimated total cost? C11 work permit. C11 work permit, when we submit the application, it takes 3 to 6 months. C11 work permit, let me refer to that section of our website. So here, let me go here. So buying a business and you see buying a franchise, buying a business in Canada and so on. Entrepreneur work permit programs, usually this is the timeline that you're looking at. And this is the place where you can find that C11 work permit, right? For example, C11, it's here. That's all the information you need about C11. It's one of the most visited pages in our on our website, so you can visit there. Usually it's 3 to 6 months in terms of timeline, and the cost again depends on your circumstances. You can check our fee calculator. Usually it starts from 15,000 to and plus, and we also have several packages like basic package, medium package, and VIP package. So talk to our lawyers to know exactly what you're looking at in terms of total fees. Will the business generate net income after landing? It depends on you. I'm not a business advisor. I cannot say, oh, you will earn $500,000 in 3 months. No, I'll never do that. It all depends on you. If you're buying an existing business, you will have an opportunity to look at the history of the business. But if you're starting from zero, there's no history. It's you and your business, right? Nobody, if somebody says, oh, you will definitely make $200,000 in 6 months, I would run away from that person. There's no, we are not in the business of business advising, okay? We are in the business of immigration, business immigration. And, to be honest, I think many people miscalculate what their expectations is too high. For example, I deal with Middle Eastern clients. They make millions in Dubai, but they expect the same millions in Canada. Wrong expectation. Okay, you will have more than what you have in Dubai in terms of lifestyle and so on, in terms of stability and other stuff, but don't expect the same result in a country where you haven't worked yet. You worked in Dubai for 20 years to achieve those millions, but in Canada you are expecting, in a short term, you're expecting the same result? No, that's unrealistic. Okay, that's my assessment. Okay. Great session to receive responses directly from you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your active participation. And don't forget, I will be in the comment section under this video in the next hour after the live, in 1 hour after the live session. We are in the comment. We read each and every comment that comes from our audience. We pay attention. I think this is all in terms of questions. Okay. I think that's all. Yeah, perfect. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I hope I gave you some tips and guidance in terms of selecting your lawyer for your presentation, for your immigration journey. It's not just the selecting the lawyer, but also the partner in a way in your immigration journey. So on whom you can rely in terms of expertise and other, knowledge and guidance. If you have any questions, I will be happy to respond in the comment section. So thank you for watching and see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.